How to work with premature babies in the NICU. Now, I have worked in the NICU. I have lives that you can see. Bhutan and India. I've done, and also in South Africa, but those weren't recorded. You know, you have privacy concerns, but I've got my work out in the on the YouTube. Um, you have to realize a lot of things, even in the NICU. And in the NICU, first of all, you have to be able to evaluate your baby before you start moving them, because there's something that develops in our children that's called what I call the absolute horizon. Right? You're not going to see this in the term books. They go right to tummy time. But when your baby is born, right, this is the first time they're exposed to gravity. And the gravity has to mean something to their system because it's the only non-optional force that we have. From the day we're born to the day we die, we deal with gravity. Now, I can choose to pick up my glasses or I can choose to pick up my baby, but these are forces of movement that are above and beyond gravity, right? And you understand this more if you're a brand new newborn or if you're special needs, let's say, of some sort. And it doesn't matter if you're special needs at the age of 2 or if it's the age of 65. You know, someone that's had a stroke, gravity's a kicker. Someone that's just come back from outer space, gravity's a kicker. Why? Because they no longer have weight transfer, transitional skills, and rotational responses. I don't care if you're a brand new baby or an astronaut coming back. These are the core movements that are obsolete or very traumatized within the system, and those have to be addressed way before strength, core strength, or any of those kind of things. If you do not have the right movements, you'll never be strong enough, right? And that's what people don't understand. I once had a drill sergeant here, or someone in boot camp, excuse me, that I don't know rank. I apologize for any kind I don't mean it being disrespectful. And I said, in his daughter had cerebral palsy, and he was like, I said, sir, she's stronger than you are. You should know better than anybody else. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you can move. How many guys did you try to get over that wall? And he's like, yes, ma'am, you are correct. And that's what we're looking at. But let me show you. So I posted a NICU baby that they're handling it wrong. They're handling it the way they know how to. So it's not a correction to the parents. I don't mean it like this. You're here to learn, right? I'm not here. You're not going to learn if I put somebody down. But at the same time, I have to give examples. I don't have a premature baby here. I only have my baby doll. But you can see me in the hospitals, like I said, doing my newborn movement assessment that I swear by. But the one thing that they do wrong, first of all, is they try and calm the system by weight. There's already enough weight on the system that shouldn't be there. You've got leads, you've got IVs, you've got NG tubes. I'm about to do a Zoom with a little munchkin with an NG tube. These are weights on the system. And we look at that like, oh, it doesn't weigh anything, right? I've shown by enough examples that what a pulse oximeter will do to the baby, much less also they have the infant security system going on. There's so many things that they're going on. What these do is they impede not only weight transfer, but it gives a different reality to gravity. If you can't move or you can't breathe, your breath, that first breath, is your first opposition to gravity in breath. And now on top of that, you're throwing leads on, a couple of, a PICC line. You've got a recipe of developmental delays just based off of medical. So the whole thing is the baby's startling. Well, what that startle is, since I can't just weight transfer, which would be something like this, because I have all this medical stuff on me, and also with premature babies, the skin to mass ratio is off. This is one of the scales that I'm developing with all my different scales. But what it is that when I'm a full-term baby, I'm 85% fluid dynamics, so I can work like this. My skin to bone to muscle ratio is different than a premature baby. Their skin is more than their mass, and so you will start to see more of a lift, right? This is different than a startle and so forth. So when you do that, you really need to come underneath. And like I said, you can watch me in the NICU. I can put it in the comments where I come underneath the child. And now the one child that I'm working on in Bhutan is 875 grams. So, and she was failing to thrive. I mean, nothing was happening. I wish I would have recorded all of her stats to show her, starting to respond. But you're just going to be under here with these micro movements, the newborn movement assessment, and working with your baby, right? Because the first thing you need to get is that breath. And what would have happened with they were taken home or so forth, they would be breathing from all different ways. Let's say that your baby's on your chest, right? Their backs or spines would be breathing, and they're not getting that. So now with these leads on, they're picking up the baby. Well, now gravity just got 10 times worse, right? Because now you're forcing against these wires, these lines, and now you've got the push, you've got the shutter, you've got that kind of response for the baby. So now people think startle at reflex, which that's not what the reflex is, and they start swaddling. Swaddling is really interesting. If you want to look at it in different ways, look at how they take, the sarcophaguses of the mummies and the way that they've been wrapped up and so forth. This is not what you want to do. Again, you're taking away weight transfer, transitional movements. Evaluating your baby. Can the baby be picked up or touched and so forth? You know what I mean? That's your first line of thing. If you have to go in there and just work on weight transfer just like this, and I'm telling you micro movements then, but they're learning how to do this initiation of the movement successfully versus, or I'm lifting them up or starting to do, that is just way too much for the nervous system. It's just not where you want to go with it. The absolute horizon is when you're coming at your baby and you're coming in, and the baby, almost like a plane coming in for a landing or taking off, that they're going in and they're going out of position through that, and that they're doing that. And that's what an absolute horizon is, right? That they can transition into your arms, they can transition down to the crib, and you're not seeing those effect of what a shudder, what a lot of people review as a startle. It's actually of a form of intelligence, almost that they're falling. But by saying they're not falling and wrapping them up, they still have those same sensations. And that's what we have to do to help a premature child. Thanks.